Hit that timer. Do that. Almost there. I'm off. That's that. And there we go. Okay.
Thank you, Robot Woman.
Ladies and gentlemen,
progress.
Welcome to the latest and possibly the greatest episode of all time in the annals of podcast
mate, you
history.
always pick it up too much, mate. Calm it. Calm. Keep it calm.
The world's finest. And why, ladies and gentlemen? Because the three amigos are back together again. Not only do you get the glory,
houses.
Not only do you get the glory of CJ. Oh yeah. Not only do you get the magic touch of the big Dave, okay, the hands that can reach around the world.
You make it sound like a pervert. What is good?
But you get the glorious dulcet tones of Mike. Oh yeah, the Kirby. He's back in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the latest episode of the Boys from Bossk. Now, our reach keeps increasing, and it's more beautiful by every day. Our audience grows slowly. Don't get me wrong, but it grows. Okay, almost 30% of our audience is no.
But this is it. When I come back, it goes back down. Then is that what's going to happen?
No. I'm sure it's not just the beauty of me and Big Dave. It is, but you're like an added bonus, Mike. You return to the fold, and they'll be like, "Oh, this is an extra voice." We're at that point in the year just before everything starts to happen, so everything starts to quieten down. But there are plenty of stories out there that we've been digging through as we go along. We never got a top 10 from you, Mike, and I'm not going to make you go through one now. But what would you say was your entertainment highlight from last year? What stuck in your mind from last year that made you go, do you know what? TV's worthwhile. In between having to deal with all those customers that you were dealing with, what was the thing that made you drifted off to? I went, that was one of my highlights.
I suppose Mandalorian,
Okay.
WandaVision, Loki.
Disney Plus, like me, then, yeah.
Yeah, Disney Plus, pretty much. Yeah.
Curtis went through it all individually. I just had it all at number one.
Yeah. It's the only streaming service I consistently will go back to. Like I watch, I go on Netflix for The Witcher, which I want to talk about later, and then I think that's it. Titans season, the last season of Titans, I enjoyed. That's quite good.
Okay.
I don't know. It's all I don't know because there was quite a lot, wasn't there?
There was more last year than there was the year before. I think as people started
it was
COVID.
sticking in my head is The Mandalorian because it was so well done, and WandaVision, and all the Marvel stuff like Hawkeye I really enjoyed. I think just Marvel hit it out of the park for me. That's all I can really remember.
I don't
even remember what else. I don't even remember what else came out last year. Like
you had a few big releases outside of Marvel, but obviously Spider-Man was a big cinematic one.
Also Marvel though, Curtis.
I don't know. Doom, give me a chance. Doom, that was a big.
See, I've not seen it. I'm going to go to the Prince Charles to watch it because I missed it.
I mean, any of us have seen it.
Yeah. Well, it's all what it says. I wasn't in the mood for it. I wasn't in the mood to sit there for 3 hours and have idiots scream around me. It
was me during watching Spider-Man. Literally had some dude sat like a seat away from me doing dad jokes throughout the entire film, and I was like, "Really?
Fuck it, I'll glass
is this really happening?" But no, it's been.
Oh yeah, it's like when I saw Suicide Squad, the latest one. There's a couple behind me were making themselves gin and tonics with actual glasses. And they were just like clink, 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 clink. And I was like, mate, I don't know if I missed the cinema or not, because I'm gonna go postal on these guys. You know what I mean?
It's like, what? Oh, you.
See what I do? Go at
do
10:30
it.
in the morning.
Mate,
Two
half past
people.
10 on a Tuesday. Yes, please, thank you. Yeah.
I was right. I went on the first night to watch Spider-Man. It was all right. The dad jokes guy shut up eventually, and it was an all right experience.
It was it was nice because everyone was so excited. It was. I don't know how your screening was. Mine was pretty cool. Like people was, yelling when they saw, Garfield and when they saw Maguire and all that. It was.
I was yelling at Garfield for a completely different reason.
Yeah. And when William Dafoe said, "Oh, I was hoping for scientist myself," everyone cheered. It was that was probably the best. Yeah, that was good. It was good to see Marvel do Marvel again. Because that was the worry, isn't it? Because obviously they're doing the TV shows, and the TV shows are so good. I really enjoy the fact that it's like a full story.
Mm-hmm.
You worry, like, are you going to be even bothered about watching it in the cinema anymore? Because you're getting these really good stories, and then you see them do something, spectacular with Spider-Man. And
hey.
Thank you very much. Here all week. But like also
I must have switched off.
Yeah. But then also do a really good reset on Spider-Man. Because I guarantee that's why Marvel and Sony fell out. Yeah. It was probably because he was too involved in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yeah. He was too much involved. And I reckon Sony were like, no, we need Spider-Man to be Spider-Man. We need him to be street level. We need him to be New York. He can't have all these fancy iron suits and technology and all this. And I think they did it in a really smart way where it's going to be him being, a struggling Peter Parker. Not a Peter Parker, with a big support network of superheroes to come back to. Him struggling by himself and maybe not trusted by the other superheroes because he won't give his identity away. I think that's what made me so excited at the end. Well, I was like, yes.
Disney and Marvel have even gone further in that Spider-Man we've got is Marvel's Spider-Man, and they're going to bring back one of the two other guys and carry on with either Garfield or
no.
I reckon they are, because if you look at Sony's creating their own universe. Yeah. And I think that maybe that's what you're going to see. And remember, Sony's the only one without a streaming service. And I think out of all the studios this year, Sony's stood up on its own quite well. And I think that they're going to be, I've said this to Dave before as well, I think Sony are placing themselves in a position where they may actually come out on top in these streaming wars, because they're making stuff for Apple, they're making stuff for other channels, Netflix, even I think products for Disney outside of Spider-Man.
Sort of like a super freelancer. Going everywhere, I sort of freelancing around sort of thing.
Even Disney started to realize they're prohibiting their product by having a streaming service where all your stuff's on it. And so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. But
what would you be more excited for? Would you be more excited for Amazing Spider-Man 3 or Spider-Man 4?
I'd rather be more excited to wait for Miles Morales Spider-Man.
Yeah, I agree that. I agree with that.
Get rid of the other two now, they're done.
The thing
I do not want to see Andrew Garfield on the screen again as Spider-Man.
All right, but you could do a really cool thing with Maguire handing it over to Miles Morales.
Yeah.
As like a mentor thing.
Yeah.
You could do that. And then
I don't mind Tobey Maguire.
Then you could just do him. You could bring Miles Morales into this Marvel Cinematic Universe like they did with the Ultimates, like how he came into it anyway. That's how he came into the 616 universe, But I personally, I watched the Amazing Spider-Mans again. I like him. I like Garfield. He's a bit Tony Hawk Pro Skater, but
he's a drip. He's a fucking drip.
Oh,
they ain't got no love for Garfield. Hates him as if he was his own.
Even every movie he does, he plays the drip. It's just a drip.
You got a bit of a point there, because what was that film he done where he played the soldier, Heartbreak Ridge?
Yeah,
And he plays
Hacksaw
a
Ridge.
soldier nobody likes because he refused.
But that
to
was a
shoot
good
his
film.
boy.
He was a conscientious
But I think that's
objector.
because of Harry Styles.
Okay.
But he got the medal for victory because he saved the guy's life.
Yeah, he
But he
saved those
refused to pick
people's
up a
lives
gun.
while under fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, moving on. So the past couple of years have been tough for a certain someone who, he went from being a Hollywood darling to one of, like, what is that quote? How you can live long enough before you become a villain yourself. That Batman quote.
You can only live long. Everyone's you turn into a monster.
Yeah, and he literally is viewed very much as a monster. His last project, The Nevers, his name got taken off of it. And I believe he's been removed from that project. I believe he's got no other projects lined up. But he's today, I don't know if I'd say he's come out fighting, but Joss Whedon has waded in and broken his silence on the accusations that were made against him by Ray Fisher
Here we go.
on the Justice League. And he's saying Ray Fisher was a bad actor. And he's claiming the claims aren't true. It's strange that he's come out for Ray Fisher because Ray Fisher was just the first person to start criticizing him. A lot of people
David
have
touched
come
him.
out. Well, he wasn't allowed to be in the same room with Buffy. You remember Buffy got her magical little sister in the series?
Harmony.
Series
Yeah.
2? Harmony. He wasn't allowed to be in the same room as her.
Dawn. It wasn't just Dawn.
Yeah.
That was it. Dawn.
That was it.
Yeah.
And there were lots of accusations that started coming out from the rest of the cast, but Whedon's like he wasn't a good actor.
It's all a bit late though, isn't it?
I don't know. Warner Brothers did their investigation. They claimed there was nothing going on.
Your mic's very low, Chris.
Huh?
Your mic's very low.
What, my voice?
I can't hear you. You keep moving.
I keep moving around, but can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Don't
do your job.
So yeah, it's been. I all I know is this about Joss Whedon. Ever since he did the first Avengers film, all he's done is moan about being in movies. Personally, I think Joss Whedon was very lucky to be in a position he was, and if he abused that position, that's his problem. The original Buffy the Vampire Slayer film is freaking awful. I'm surprised it even got a TV series, and it got a fantastic TV series.
Well, with Kirsty Swanson, that was a great film.
Anyway,
because she was hot as them.
It's a terrible film. When's the last time you watched it?
1987.
Exactly. I just think at the end of the day, Joss Whedon, he was always too good to be true. His own wife slagged him off for the stuff he pulled with her. I've got no time for the guy. Do you guys still have a soft spot for Joss, or is it like you're over the Whedon? I had enough.
Well, I was hoping when Buffy finished.
Mate, I used to be proper. I used to love everything like Firefly, Dollhouse.
Angel was good.
Angel was amazing. I loved Angel. I think I liked Angel a little bit more than Buffy.
But apparently, he had to go. He hated Spike
and Cordelia.
Yeah,
He used to he almost caused a miscarriage or something, didn't he?
Yeah.
Firefly. I loved. I really did. Yeah. Adventures of Han Solo. Thank you. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, his stuff is always good on paper, I think, but then it never seems to hit an audience. It's always a bit too niche, isn't it? With his stuff. Like it's a cool idea, but it never seems to stick the landing. I love Firefly, but obviously that died, didn't it?
I think it's kind of like Gene Roddenberry to a degree. I think when other writers get hold of his stuff, they can do amazing things with it. And he's initially quite good, but the further it goes on, he seems to struggle a bit. Like he hated some of the things that people remember Buffy being great for. He hated those aspects. So Spike, redemption, all those little things. He wasn't a fan of the Cordelia's redemption. So I think he was a very good ideas man. And he did have a talent, don't get me wrong. If you could build a career off the back of what I can personally consider a really bad film, then you've got talent, right? But he wasn't happy. He was complaining constantly about the Avengers when he'd done that, moaning about Age of Ultron continuously. He wasn't happy during the process of that. And whether or not Ray Fisher's a bad actor or not, I don't think he was deserving of any of the abuse he got. And you know what? I damn Warner Brothers for actually keeping Wade on. He's been, this isn't new. Ray Fisher was just the first person to really come out and expose the way Waden was behaving. But I think it's time for Waden to grow up. Really, just either go and get some therapy, or just stop.
Go and spend your money.
Yeah, go spend your money, go retire, and let people remember Buffy for what Buffy was. Boom, and that's that. Sorry to start the show off with such bad news.
But they've all switched off now.
No, there's still somebody there. I don't know who it is, but they're still there. Right, so
your stalker.
Moving on as you do. There was a teaser trailer out. There's a trailer coming out this week, but there was a teaser trailer out for Moon Knight that came out. There's not much to the teaser. It's just more shots of Moon Knight and stuff, and a few
very bad grainy shots.
But I did find it was quite a strange shot that it was quite a strange character choice for Marvel, because Moon Knight, comic book wise, he's meant to be like Marvel's version of Batman, but he's proper crazy. Sorry, not crazy. He's got multiple personality disorder, and so he's got literally distinctive personalities within his head.
So he's bipolar. Is that what you're saying?
No. Bipolar is a bit more different. That's
more
emotional.
Crazy.
Yeah. And although I've read a few Moon Knight comics, I've never really been into it. Mike, were you big on the Moon Knight side of things? Did you ever?
I sort of dip in. It depends who's writing it. I dip in sometimes. I think Mark Waid did a good run. He's good because he's street level, isn't he? He's just a street level hero.
Yeah.
And he calls Dracula a bitch, which is fun. But yeah, I mean, like, he's one of those characters that needs to be written well, I think. I mean, I'm excited for the show. Oscar Isaac looks absolutely mental in it. I think this is a cool idea for them. I think do something which people aren't really that invested in, you know?
I'm intrigued to see if they can put it off.
It boots out a new character, doesn't it, as well?
Yeah, exactly, you know?
Instead of, like, like I said to Curtis the other day, that like this year for the movies, it's just repeats of everything else. There's not one individual film.
Yeah.
So releasing a character in a TV show first might be the way forward. So they can say yes or no if it's a hit or miss.
I'm intrigued to see if they follow up. Like, it looked like it was going to be quite spooky and quite violent at the same time, and I'm intrigued to see if they can pull that off. Because a lot of people have got a bit concerns about, like when Kingpin appeared, and about how that character is going to be moving forward. Because, like Netflix's Daredevil, Luke Cage, and the rest of them, the violence was there. It was quite brutal.
Yeah, I mean, Daredevil was brutal, wasn't it?
Yeah, especially I think the first big fight scene he has, where he's in
the corridor. Yeah, in the sort of corridor. Sort of thing.
No, it was the alleyway one where he's fighting the guy who was one of Kingpin's hitmen.
Oh yeah.
And there's blood everywhere. There's carrot, and he impales himself on a shot Raven.
Oh yeah.
And I thought that was pretty violent. I don't think Marvel necessarily needs the blood and violence, but Moon Knight looked like it was promising something a bit more deep, a bit more dark. Do you think they're going to follow through on it? And would you guys watch it if it got like?
These sort of things they need to put on Disney Star. That's the whole point of Disney Star, isn't it? For that extra bit. I
hope so. I really hope so.
So that way it is like over the age of 12 rated, and they can swear and everything else. You watch like HBO Max, it's proper gore and swearing everywhere.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, I want to see him like impale people. That'd be nice. I mean, honestly, I've got no expectations for it, so good on them. They can't fuck it up because I don't really don't care that much, you know. But I mean,
what I hope is-
it'd be quite cool to see all the street level heroes sort of come together at some point. Not like the Defenders, because that was a bit shit.
Right,
But-
can I ask both of you this question? Okay.
Oh, you
Yeah.
cannot ask the
Right.
question. You know the
I
answer.
just need to know.
No, Curtis, I'm not watching the
Defenders.
Expanse.
No,
I'm not watching the
neither.
Expanse.
We'll get to the Expanse later.
It's
But
finished this week, thank God.
It's dead.
I love, no, but they're going to announce 2 movies, I think. I loved the Defenders. I enjoyed it. You know, Sigourney Weaver was running around, all the rest of it, and the fights and the what. Why didn't anybody else seem to like? You didn't like it.
No, it was all right. It was just all right, and that was the problem because Daredevil was great, Jessica Jones was great, Luke Cage was great, Iron Fist was shit, and then Defenders had a lot to live up to. And I'm not saying it wasn't awful. I mean, I enjoyed them all playing together, but it just wasn't up to what we were expecting. Do you know what I mean? You know, because the bar was already set so high. So we're like, oh, it's going to be great. And then it was just like, oh, it was a bit lackluster, if that makes sense.
Find the ninjas underground.
Yeah. I don't know. And also, it didn't ring true to what Luke Cage and Jessica Jones do.
No.
Do you know what I mean? They're not about fighting ninjas and dragons and...
No, that's all down to the speed wizard.
You know, I think that was my issue with it. It would have made sense if Iron Fist and Daredevil did that. But it doesn't really make sense for Luke Cage and Jessica Jones too. So I think it should have been like a Kingpin type villain. You know, something you could touch. Yeah, with some
big boss.
With some ninja elements in it. I think that's it. That was my Devil's Reign is comic book series at the moment. Where Wilson Fisk is outlawed, superheroes in New York City. Yeah. That kind of vibe, you know. I hope that's what they're going to try and do in the Marvel stuff. That would be cool.
Well, it looks like they're going towards that, and I think
they're going towards the initiative, aren't they?
Yeah, and the Thunderbolts.
Yeah, definitely Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts are coming soon, you think, and the Young Avengers, which the little nerd inside of me is getting really excited about. But then the more I see of fandom, the more I'm like, they're going to ruin it for us. Fandom's going to ruin it all for us. And I'll give you an example of why that shortly. And this is why I love talking to you and Dave in particular. Where were we? Right. Let's see. Right. I think the next big Marvel project outside of the X-Men, right? I know of Young Avengers and all that are big, but I mean, big project is definitely going to be Fantastic Four. Okay. Now, the CBR, I think, put an article out about who should play the next Doctor Doom in the MCU. And I think top of their list. Who was top of their list? John Krasinski, was it?
What, as Doctor Doom?
No, not as Doctor Doom.
Yeah, isn't he Mr. Fantastic?
No. Yeah, he was top for Mr. Fantastic.
He was top for
Doom.
You just thrown this straight on me, didn't you? Let me. Oh, he's it was Kylo Ren.
Adam Driver.
Adam Driver was number one. Yeah.
No, it was Sicilian. Wasn't it Sicilian Murphy?
Oh, Cillian Murphy.
Yeah.
Cillian Murphy was number one.
I think one of the biggest problems with the original Fantastic Four is they didn't get Doom right, and he ended up being like quite a lame villain in the end.
Yeah, he's a bit rubbish.
And I think if they get Doom right this time, and nothing to do with the actor, which is really bad, I think the character's badly written. And then in the when was the last one that came out? 19.
What, with Michael B. Jordan?
Yeah, when was that one? Was that 1915?
That was like 2015.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and that was just the most miserable superhero film I'd ever seen in my life. I'm surprised it ever got anywhere near the screen. And the guy they got to play Mr. Fantastic was bad. Who would you guys? Let's say Sicilian Murphy.
Sicilian Murphy, is that his name? Yeah, Sicilian. Not killing.
Sicilian Murphy, not killing.
It's killing. Yeah, he's Irish.
No, it's Sicilian. No, don't give me that, Dave. I'm not having that. Other suggestions. Actually, we'll throw this at you, Mike, right? You've been away for a while, but we're going to throw this at you. Say yes or no to the following, right? As Dr. Doom.
All right,
okay. Dave, you join in as well on this one. You say yes or no, right?
I've got the list in front of me.
Okay. Jamie Bell.
No.
Is that Billy Elliot?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was the thing in the last
No. Patrick
Warburton. You've seen him in what have you seen him in?
Loads of things. He's the voice of the cop in thingy, isn't he?
Family Guy.
Family Guy.
Your dad's voice in Family Guy.
Oh, you mean he was in The Tick?
Yeah, the very dry, humoured guy. It's like, yeah, he's actually pretty good, actually.
No,
because he's very
okay.
Crazy.
Here's one of my favourites, Timothy Oliphant.
Oh, I love him, but he has to be a cop. He's always a marshal. He's not allowed to be anything else but a marshal.
He's a marshal in bloody Mandalorian, wasn't he?
He's even a marshal in the Mandalorian.
I reckon he'd actually be a really good option for Mr. Fantastic. Because I think he's got the charisma and
yeah, he's got like I mean, yeah,
and he did a really good nerd in that really great film, Die Hard 4.0, and
he's the best thing in that.
I think
film,
I fell asleep in the cinema for that
but
one.
He is the best thing in that film though, by far.
Okay, Luke Evans.
I like Luke Evans.
Luke Evans. What's he most famous for outside of this? Beauty and the Beast. He played the villain in that. Gaston.
No, he was also in Fast and Furious. He was Thingy's brother, wasn't he?
Was he?
Oh, he was Dracula, wasn't he?
No, that was.
Yeah, he was Vlad the Impaler, wasn't he?
Oh yes, he was. Yes.
Yeah, Dracula Untold. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but he looks it's a bit basic, isn't it?
They threw one black guy into this list. Coleman Domingo, which I think is really unfair that they put him in this list. I was like, really? Come on. Not that black guy can't play Doom, but I was like, they've literally just thrown it in a black guy.
I've never seen him before.
He was in Walking Dead.
He was in Fear of the Walking Dead, and I never even saw that.
Yeah,
I gave up.
He's a British actor. Javier Bardem.
Oh.
He did a really good villain in Skyfall. I think one of the best villains.
Yeah.
In Bond Skyfall.
He could be good, but he's a bit. He's. I'm not saying old in the sense of just that. They need someone who's going to do this for 10 years, don't they?
Well, then you won't like the next choice, Werner Herzog.
He's way too old.
Really?
He could play Doom's dad. He could do Doom's dad. Yeah, he could be the reason Doom becomes Doom. And then Adam Driver. Viggo Mortensen. The king.
He was in Lord of the Rings, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he was Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And then
he's a bit too old though, really, though, isn't he?
And then, as Dave says, Cillian Murphy, who I think would be a good choice for something in it. I really do think he'd also.
I mean, this is all dependent on the story they're going to tell. Are they going to have them be at university together? So are they going to be all the same age? Are they going to be, teenagers coming up? Are they going to be, established, people? This is all dependent.
If they do the idea, I thought of this as well, but I also heard rumors of this, that they could do one where it's set in the 60s, right? Or this may just be my fantasy idea.
Yeah.
But it's set in the 60s, and they go into a sort of
the quantum realm or something,
and then get brought forward in time. And so, although they're super smart, whatever, they're from the 60s and they're like now in today. And I think that would be a really, really, and they're still quite young. And that would
first space shuttle didn't go up to the top till like 64.
But didn't they do a small little teaser in WandaVision? Remember when they said that the pilots got lost in the blip or something?
Yeah, and then they came back.
But yeah,
it
may have been a hint.
Yeah.
Towards that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
I would like.
Yeah. I mean, it depends. I mean, it's hard. It's a hard one because if you get it wrong,
Doom, is there anybody else you think could be Doctor Doom?
Who would I like to be Doctor Doom?
Yeah, that's on that list. Is there anybody who's just
None of them on
you as
that
well,
list.
Dave? Anybody?
None of them. None.
None?
No
What
one.
about you, Dave?
No.
I'm trying to think. I'm just trying to think who'd be like.
John Krasinski's down for me. It's fantastic. He can make a good Doom.
Depends how, like Mike says, you don't know what year they're going to do it as. So it's are they going to be old or are they going to be young? You don't know. So it's a hard one to say, isn't it?
Right.
Fair enough.
It depends. Like who's not sort of ruined in the sense of like comic. No, in the sense of like comics. Like who's done comic roles and stuff. You know, who's actually got a chance to do something. And it's
any of the Harry Potter cast. They're all getting to that age when they could possibly fit in there. Yeah?
They're all in their late 30s now.
Yeah. Well, look at though.
You want someone in there. You want someone in their like early to mid 20s now, don't you?
You want someone.
You want people from like the Maze Runner and stuff like that. So they were quite young in that, and now they're matured.
Well, hopefully they'll go for that. They seem to be going with a slightly older cast. I got a feeling, again, it's only rumors, but the Multiverse of Madness, you may see some of the original Fantastic Four cast pop up. Again, don't quote me on that because I hear all these dark rumors for the internet, and they're usually terrible.
But Captain America was Johnny Flame.
Yeah.
So
that'd be weird. That'd be a weird mix. Well, I heard Tom Cruise is going to be Iron Man because he actually did audition for Iron Man originally. So Tom Cruise is going to be a version of Tony Stark, and that's a pretty solid rumor I've consistently heard out there. So that could be interesting.
I suppose The Rock auditioned for the Hulk, didn't he?
All right, so I've got an idea.
Yeah.
Have you seen There Will Be Blood?
I think so.
You know the preacher in it, Paul Dano.
Yeah.
He's got a kind of manic energy, isn't he?
Say that again.
Yeah.
Paul Dano. Alexa, Paul Dano.
Don't you dare.
Alexa, call Babe Station.
She can't hear you anyway.
But yeah, Paul Dano. Paul Dano is.
There he is.
Yeah, that's the one I had in my head.
I can see that. He's got the weirdness about him.
Yeah, and he could definitely be like from Latveria. And he could
good films.
Yeah, and he's got that real manic energy, isn't he? That's what I was thinking.
We'll see how it goes. I reckon they'll be announcing something in the next 6 months. I know D23 is going to be happening this year, so they'll probably announce who the cast is then. But we shall see. Now, moving on. One of my
there you go. See, someone from the Maze Runner. He was in the Maze Runner. See.
That's a good call, Dave. I give you that. The Witcher season 2 came out. It got slagged off a lot. But it was also showing a huge amount of love to the point that its viewership figures were in the billions. It was I think it hit the #1 in the UK on Netflix. I don't know about the rest of the world, but I found it quite enjoyable. Did you watch any of the Witcher, Dave? Are you a Witcher man?
Watched it all, Curtis.
Yeah, I watched it all. I enjoyed it so much. I'm thinking about reading the books.
Okay. Well, the book's quite good. I've got the game.
There's been an update on the game, apparently.
Yeah, there is.
Last week.
It's going to be an update soon. Yeah.
On Witcher 3, yeah.
And it's The Witcher 3 is one of the best games of all time, I would say. It does look fantastic as a game. And that'll be getting an update soon. But it was in the billions. A lot of the fandom aren't happy with it, though.
Oh, shut up. Get a life. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a TV program, man.
And, well, fandom's so weaponized now. Like, I think one of the writers,
That's called the internet that's made fandom weaponized.
Yeah, exactly. We had to put up with nipples in the batsuit. Remember that?
Yeah.
And the crutch pouch.
Yeah.
And dial up.
One. Yeah. Nice to see. No. Okay, but yeah, we've got love for The Witcher. I think it's planned for 7 seasons, and Henry Cavill, it's a role that was made for him. And hopefully you'll stick with it.
Literally, it's almost perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, but it was a really, really good season. And I'm really, really enjoying it, in spite of what the fandom is saying. I was going to talk about Spider-Man, but I think we've spoken about Spider-Man enough, except to say that it's no longer
for the last 5
film.
weeks, Curtis.
Yeah, it's no longer
you spoke about Spider-Man more than Spider-Man.
It is no longer the number 1 film in the States. Why? What is? Another reboot. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen.
But it's not a reboot, is it?
It's not a reboot because Courtney Cox is still in it.
It's a soft reboot.
Well, it's not because it's a continuation.
It's a continuation. And she's like a teacher now.
Have you watched it?
Well, no, but I've seen that it's still got Sydney in
it. It's taken Spider-Man's crown. It is now the number 1 film in the States. It hasn't been released internationally, I don't think yet. It's out this weekend, maybe.
But why would you release it now in January? I don't get that. Being like a horror film, you would have thought they would have released it over.
Well, there's always a horror film out, isn't there? Because because horror films do well because they're good date night movies, aren't they?
Yeah, but you think, just after Christmas, I'll just release Scream, one of the biggest films ever.
I think because it's got very little competition.
I reckon it was delayed and for months. That's probably what's happened.
Mm.
No, I'm pleased, that they've made another one. I think I've watched all of them. I never get what they're about, but I still enjoy them greatly. I couldn't tell you what number. I can't tell you what. Does anybody understand what they were about? Like the first one?
It was the boyfriend.
Yeah,
killing all the friends because.
But why?
He was a lunatic.
Because he wanted to be famous. He wanted to be infamous.
And then the second one?
Oh, I don't remember the second one.
But it's like I
think I watched Scary Movie more than I did that.
Yeah, probably. I think I was too young. I was too young for the Scream movies. So I haven't watched them all.
The type of films you watch once. I mean, there wasn't a huge amount of depth to them.
But they weren't really horrors, were they? They were just thrillers.
Well, the thing is, though, Scream is a piss take of horror movies.
Yeah.
That's what they're pastiche. So they're like, aren't these horror movies funny? And then that's why Scary Movie's like weird because it's a pastiche of a pastiche.
I do want people to try and watch it before the spoilers start coming out because apparently there's a huge twist. And there's already so many.
Sydney's the real killer.
Yeah, it's gonna be Sydney, isn't it?
I got no idea. I don't know. If you can watch it before the spoilers start coming out. Now, Dave, I'm going to hand this one over to you because you're the only man who's watched this. This week saw the release of James Gunn's second big project for Warner Brothers before he went over to make Guardians 3. And by all accounts, it's been a huge hit, hopefully for all the right reasons. So here, with a little review, is Dave Channing on Peacemaker.
Cue silence.
You loved that long delay, didn't you?
Big D, how was Peacemaker? I know you were
absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Probably it's going to be the show of the year.
Wow, really? After 2 episodes?
3 episodes.
Oh,
they released 3 at once. Yeah. If you watched Suicide Squad and you enjoyed Peacemaker, this is just a crazy version of it. It's literally his backstory with his new story, how he survived after getting killed by Idris Elba and didn't really die. He's got a crazy eagle that he talks to and does everything with. And it's just mad. It's completely mad. It's bonkers. Lots of swearing, lots of boobs, lots of violence, lots of comic jokes.
Hey, you had me at boobs.
What more do you need? So it's literally your Friday night staying in comedy that they used to show. And that's what you need. You need something stupid and funny in your life.
And who else is in the cast from? Because I thought it was
So
everybody.
you got two of the agents that were betting on who was going to survive the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
You got two of those still in it, and you got Danielle Brooks, who was in Orange Is the New Black. She's the daughter of the officer that was in charge, but she's like a double agent.
Okay.
You find out straight away at the beginning, so it's not really a spoiler.
Is
I'm trying not to give
Vigilante
away any.
in it yet?
Yeah, Vigilante is in it. The second edition of Vigilante, because there was another bloke that done 5 episodes, and then they had to recast him because apparently he wasn't in it for the long haul.
Oh, okay.
He's like, nah, I'm not doing this.
Well, no, that James Gunn knew he wasn't. He looked like he wasn't in it for the long haul, so he recasted him and then reshot all the.
I'm a British actor, and I will not be doing stereotypes.
And Peacemaker's dad is absolutely a nutcase, and he's part of the Ku Klux Klan by the looks of it.
Or is he?
Or is he? But yeah, I don't really want to spoil anything because it's not out over here, so it's quite hard to say that he blows everything up and he's a bit of a klutz.
Is John Cena?
John Cena is absolutely fantastic.
Oh, his dad's RoboCop. Robert Patrick was RoboCop.
Yeah.
It's the old RoboCop. He plays his dad.
Yeah,
that's quite.
But he's just absolutely bonkers. He makes all the suits. He's got like so many different helmets that have different powers. Like one that gives him syphilis, and he wants to know why it gives him syphilis. So it's jokes and stupid things like that that make it good.
There's an intro. HBO did release the intro to the show.
The intro to the show will make you wet yourself, and every time you watch the show, you have to watch it again because it's so fucking funny.
I'm gonna watch episode when we finish this.
Yeah, the intro is absolutely brilliant, and it's on YouTube. And I think it may be a big hit for.
I think it's going to be
HBO.
the HBO's big hit because it is that silly comedy action hero with powers. Especially the little judo ninja, he's quite funny. Or should I say, just call him Judo Master? I think that's what his name was. So he's quite funny because he beats the crap out of all of them.
What a massive turnaround for James Gunn. Do you know what I mean? He was really in a lot of trouble for a bit. He was having a Whedon moment, but he came back from it, didn't he?
Well, I mean, what was it? There was tweets from years ago.
Yeah,
they were bad. They were bad jokes though. It wasn't that they were just tweets from years ago. They were like paedophile jokes, and it was like there was no there was no need for him to have done that, and he really should have thought about it doing that before he done that. Leaving them up because people were going to call out. People get called out for less on the internet, and although I do think it was silly that Disney sacked him the way they did, but you've got to show a bit more gumption than that because, especially with Disney, the mouse don't mess. The mouse don't. They will beat your ass if they see you doing stuff that's dodgy. So, but he's done well. Do you know what I mean? He's back on. He's doing his final Guardians film. And I think DC is just going to grab him, and that's it. He'll be doing Justice League next or whatever, because Snyder's gone. I don't think they have Snyder back to make anything anymore.
Snyder helped him do this Peacemaker show.
I know, but I still think that's as big as it's going to get. You won't see him doing another Superman or Justice League or anything like that.
I don't think he really wants to, does he?
I don't blame him. He put his heart into it, and people just overall didn't buy into it.
You just have to go back to him all the time, don't you? I think you've got a soft spot. Mike's been away, and then suddenly Snyder comes back.
Of course, I've got a soft spot for Snyder. He went through a lot. He lost his daughter. He loves those characters. Well, I don't criticize his love for Superman, Batman, and all those characters. It's just the execution was a bit sloppy as far as I'm concerned. Martha, it was just a bit off. And he can't write women for love or money. somebody needs to sit him down and go, women don't talk like this, John. They don't talk like that. And yeah. Lois Lane became the most blandest character ever. And the Lois Lane I grew up with was not that.
It was old firecracker, you know?
Yeah. But even the Lois that we've got in the Lois and Superman TV show, she was a better written character than Amy Adams was in. Was it Amy Adams?
Yeah.
And Superman. But that's my opinion, and I stick by it. I said what I said. Right. I saw a trailer. Everybody loves Squid Games, and I think South Korean. I'm watching a show called Alice in Borderland, and for some reason, these Korean and Japanese shows, they love this sort of game theme of being in like games from hell. And I watched one Alice in Borderland, which I'm watching. This guy gets trapped in a world where you got to play games that could end in your death, and it's sort of like Squid Games, but it's a bit more. Like you don't choose to be in this game; you're just there. You're in Tokyo one day, you're in hell on earth the next. And I think
Croydon?
Yeah, and some would say allegedly. And
okay, Fulton Heath. There you go.
So there's a new trailer I saw for a show which looks like a cross between Battle Royale and The Walking Dead, and it's called All of Us Are Dead, and it's coming out on the 29th of January, and I think it's going to be the next week's show.
This one with the big zombies, the really fast zombies.
Not really, really fast, but you need to move a bit quicker than
the one with the zombie that does the crab.
Yeah. They make their actors work for their money in this one, because the actors are just doing that whole like possessed.
Well, he literally just flipped over and just run off backwards, didn't he? Like...
Coming for you. I'm going to eat your balls. I don't just want your brains. I want all of it. So that really, really looks good, and it's set in a high school, lots of bows, arrows, all the rest of it. But it looks, I think it might be a big hit. But I'm the guy that also said Jupiter's Legacy was going to be a big hit.
Wow.
Well.
So we've got a few reviews to catch up with you. Overall, did you say what you thought of Spider-Man? You loved the Spider? You were right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll leave that one. Superman and Lois. It's now on BBC. You guys watched that way before I did.
Yeah, I watched that before.
We watched it when it came out.
Yeah.
But the rest of us,
we kind of mentioned it all the shows past. If you actually listen to
them. Season 2's been announced. There's a trailer out for that, and apparently they're gonna shake things up, not between the twins, but between Lois and Clark.
Oh,
so not only does Lois need to deal with the fact that she now has a counterpart on Earth who's married to another dude who isn't Superman, but she also has to deal with the fact that Lana Lang and Clark might be getting closer in season 2. So there's lots of that to look forward to. Sounds a bit too CW for my taste, but you know, Superman Homewrecker, that could be an interesting. When I tried to do that in the 1980s,
the 90s one,
yeah,
Avengers of Lois Clark.
No, the last Superman. You know, Superman Returns.
Oh,
Lois is happily married with some dude, Cyclops from the X-Men. And Superman comes back and he's like, "Is that my kid? Is that my Lois?" So yeah, that could be.
That was another one with a really bad English actor, wasn't it?
No, that was the American guy.
Oh, it was Brandon.
He was the one who was in
Brandon Ralph.
Yeah, Brandon Roof. Who went
he was English.
Is he?
Huh? Yeah, he's English.
No, it's not. It's American, not Brandon.
I thought it was English.
Unless I
I don't think any English person is called Brandon.
They're all. Yeah, otherwise they would be called Braden or Braden.
Braxton.
I'm intrigued. We'll dig it up for next show. I just
it's in the past now, Curtis. No one cares.
Brandon cares. Brandon cares. he was deeply hurt at the failure of Superman Returns, and he got to finish off the story though by playing Superman in the CW one last time.
That was good. I did like that.
Yeah, so don't be hard on my Brandon. Right, so
reviews.
So Peacemaker, you've done your Peacemaker review.
Really? Because I can't really review it.
So what? Well, you can review the first 3 episodes, which you did.
Was that it? Is that all you wanted me to know? Just Lewis and Spider-Man? That's it?
I've got more. But you haven't seen Cobra Kai. Dave, Cobra Kai, right? I tried to watch it. You managed to get up to episode 9, or did you watch a whole lot?
No, I watched a whole lot because I was sad.
Okay. Hit me.
I didn't want to watch it. I just watched it because I had to.
Well, 80s was meant to be our peak entertainment time for me and you. Did Cobra Kai take you back?
No, because I've seen it all before in season 1 and season 2.
And
now the ending of this one has got the bad guy from bloody when he went to Japan as his partner. So now he's got Johnny and the bad guy as the partners against bloody the other dude. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, but I thought the end of this season, aren't they meant to be having the Valley Championships
again?
And whoever loses
every ending.
Down.
Yeah, but that didn't happen.
So
it's just too much. Sorry, I too much. I'm getting really depressed just talking about it.
Look, I'm not going to make you. Well, time's precious.
I mean, it's the first time I haven't drunk on the show, and I feel even more depressed.
We can move on to our last. I guess our last thing before we get into it. Boba Fett. We're all up to date on that. But apparently, actor Tamara Morrison would like to play the other clones.
Yes, please.
The Clone Wars, and that'd be quite nice if they pop up at the end of.
I want to see him as Rex. That'd be cool.
Yeah, he wants to play Rex and Captain
and Wolf,
Commander Cody. I think he said
Cody.
Yeah,
and we've watched the 3 episodes of this. Now, obviously, some fandom's not happy.
Oh, fuck off!
There's a lot of criticism that Boba Fett's just not mean enough. And they, especially the biggest
you
point.
You didn't see why. You actually see the character development on the show. You fucking morons.
But a lot of people
honestly, people do my head in. People do my head in. Oh,
what was your take on it, lads? Were you are you there for Boba Fett?
I'm there for the Black Wookiee because he's the main character of the show. I think.
Like Chrysanthemum.
He took on 9 people and fucked them all up.
Yeah, with electric knuckle dusters. Yes, thank you. He was so cool.
And the only way to get rid of him was by putting him in the pit.
Yeah. And I loved how Boba Fett was like so happy with his little rancor. I thought that was so cool. It's like, oh, look at that, you little puppy, like that.
Well, it reminded me of I don't know if it was the Rebels episode where they had to go and rescue one.
The little one, yeah.
And I think that is the little one.
No, apparently it's not. I was looking at some things. Apparently, I thought it might be as well because I looked it up. But apparently, it's a different one because apparently this one's younger than that one was. Apparently, but
because that one lost its parents as well, didn't it? And then they had to go and find.
I liked the little joke. You know those kids who've got the modifications with the robot parts, and then they're driving Vespers with loads of mirrors on.
Yeah, I thought that was brilliant.
Because they're mods.
Yeah.
Do you get it? It's because they're mods.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the rest of the internet didn't find that funny.
Oh, but it was just it's just
because they don't get it because they're dim.
It's just a joke. Just a little joke.
I know, but
do you know what I mean?
This is what I mean. Though fandom's going to ruin it for us all. And really, I just think these have been some of the 3 best episodes of Star Wars I've seen.
I've loved it. And also, can we talk about how he's made the Tuskens so like relatable and sad, and made me feel so bad about episode 2 when Anakin kills them all.
At last,
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, honestly, it makes you feel. But okay, so here's my thought
Now the
about
rival
this.
games killed them all as well. So,
Yeah,
or
everyone.
maybe it was Anakin that's killed them all. You don't know.
But okay, so Jango Fett was a foundling. Yeah, like the Mandalorian. So he was a foundling raised to be a Mandalorian. Yeah, so they're both true Mandalorians. Yeah, Boba Fett is a clone of Jango Fett. So he wasn't really raised in the proper Mandalorian way, was he?
No.
So that's maybe why he has his views a bit skewed. He's a bit of an asshole, that kind of thing. But what we see there is he's adopted by a tribe, trained to be a warrior, and teach respect. So I think what you see is him becoming a Mandalorian in a way.
You got to remember, in the Bad Batch, he was a thief and a
and well, no, in the Rebels,
so...
in Rebels, he was just a bounty hunters. He was just with the bounty hunters.
Yeah, and he was vicious.
So I think
he killed a whole troop of clones.
I think this is what you see him becoming like more of a Mandalorian about honor and stuff. I think that's why you see such a change in him about respect. And I think we're going to see the reason why he wants to become the crime boss is because I think he wants to protect all the Tuscans in Tatooine. That looks like what it is. And also to get revenge. And just, he's still vicious. Like, you can see it in his eyes. He still wants to, murder everyone.
I personally loved how a lot of the scenes have been so amazingly shot.
Yeah.
Like, you see other films,
like Lawrence of Arabia.
Yeah. I think the Tuscans are going to show up in the last few episodes again. And one I think he's gonna, that Rancor, he's gonna be riding that into town at some point.
Yeah,
I put
there's
money
a big sort of Chekhov's gun moment there where he mentions about, apparently so and so rode one. Oh, really? Yeah, he's gonna ride a Rancor and he's gonna fuck everyone up.
Yeah, I think it's really, really good that he's not this invulnerable, like the whole legend of Boba Fett being a sort of invulnerable warrior is gone, and it's sort of like this very human, very vulnerable character, that has to sit in the back tank, that still hasn't recovered from his wounds, that is still having to fight his way through whatever he's been through, and I think that really, really works. And also, I think that I think the pacing could have been a bit better. I think they should have just focused on the Tuscan for this season and then gone into the whole.
There's only 7 episodes, isn't there? I don't think there's that many episodes.
I think it's not 8.
No,
I thought it was 8.
It's 7 or 8. But I think everything I've watched, I've enjoyed. Yes, it's got a slow pace, but it's not trying to be the Mandalorian. And I think, it could have easily just been another show about another guy in another helmet. But it's not. It's trying to be something different, and I do hope that it gets a chance to get maybe a book 2 out the doors.
And it's not relying on too many cameos.
Yeah,
like unless you read the comics, you wouldn't know who Black Chrysanthemum is. It's just a cool looking Wookiee, isn't it?
He is the badass bounty hunter.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to know.
That episode, the fact he appeared, like, you've never seen a Wookiee like him, and it was like, God damn!
As soon as I saw him, I cheered.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, the best bounty hunters in the show now.
Exactly. Just fucking everyone up, mate. That was amazing.
Yeah, and I think that was such an amazing.
And now he's let him go. He's going to owe him a favor, so he's going to do something for him, isn't he? So there's going to be a big battle somewhere against someone.
Against the Pikes, against the Pike Indus. And they're also saying, like, there's rumors about Emilia Clarke because of the Crimson Dawn. They're one of the other factions, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, that I don't know. I don't think that would. I don't think that would, because that's too big a cameo that no one will care about. Because no one cared about Solo. Like, let's be honest. Like, so there'll be one of those cameos. Like, oh yeah. All right. Cheers.
I reckon she'll show up in Lando once they release that.
Yeah. Oh, Lando.
Yeah, because that was meant to come out this year, wasn't it? But that won't come to next year now. So,
well, I mean, the Mandalorian owes Boba Fett a favor, doesn't he? Almost.
Yeah.
A little bit. So we might see him pop back.
Well, they have announced another. Again,
There's gonna be a battle royale somewhere, isn't there?
Yeah.
Disney need to be careful about how many characters with helmets they start series on, but they've announced that Bo-Katan is going to get a new series as well, and Bo-Katan is the other Mandalorian who was with.
But that means Sabine will show up then because of the Darksaber.
Okay,
Maybe.
now this is a bit worrying because it feels like, oh, we aren't going to rely on Jedis, but we are going to rely on all the cool Mandalorians.
Yeah,
because they look cool. You know what I mean? It's like,
It is a bit concerning, and
let's calm it down. Dr. Aphra would make more sense.
Yeah, well, I think Dr. Aphra's probably going to be announced at some point in the next couple of months, because it just seems to be the black my Negro Wookiee, right? the fact they had him in it, right? Dr. Aphra can't be far behind, and you know, it just sort of like, it just makes more sense that she'll appear at some point. I
mean, you need to get Darth Vader to appear at some point as well. Then
he's going to come in Obi-Wan, apparently.
Yeah, Obi-Wan, he's in. So
because Dr.
really,
Aphra's
really nice.
Darth Vader's psychic in the comics now, isn't she? So
sometimes trying to kill him.
Sometimes I don't think he just hasn't killed her. But that's going to be interesting. But yeah, I think she's going to make an appearance. And good on Marvel for really they've done a good job at getting characters into the main series now. Which
they're bringing in characters from the new comic books rather than the actual films as well. So that's what's pretty good as well.
Because those comics are better than any of the prequels.
Yeah.
You know, like when the Darth Vader comic, when he goes back to Naboo to go to Padme's grave, was bloody heartbreaking, you know? And the fact that Darth Vader was treated like a little bitch because he got the Death Star blown up and he had to start working for the guy he force choked. That was so funny. I was just like, that was like the biggest L ever.
But it made perfect sense. It's one of those things, I think, that the comic books are allowed enough range that they can sort of do their own thing and create new characters and bring in new stories in a way that I think Star Wars has struggled to do recently, partly because of the fans, but partly because, you know, it's been hard to tell a Star Wars story and tell it well. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's not as easy as people think. And I keep saying this, part of the reason why the sequels, the last three, struggled is, you know, Carrie Fisher passing when she did, I think damaged the production a lot more than people realize, you know, and it made it that bit more difficult. Because if you look at how the films were set up, the third film was meant to be Carrie's film.
Yeah.
You know, the second one was Luke's, third one would have been Carrie's. And, you know, people blame them and are angry at them for not having all three of them together. But that's not their fault. I think it's the fact that they left it for so long. You know, they left that if they made it 10 years ago, it would have been a whole different thing altogether. But I think it just got left too long, and that's what the problem was. And God, I miss Carrie Fisher. She, you know, but Boba Fett, it looks like it's going to be good. A new generation of Star Wars fans coming out there for it. I think we need more Star Wars. We just need something different. No Mandalorians, maybe no Jedis, but something different. Andor looks like it might be that. But I think they need to get some fire underneath the Star Wars brand, especially so it can start taking some money in cinema. It can start competing again with the other franchises in cinema. Because I don't know, I miss that excitement of going to watch a Star Wars cinema.
I want to see big battles on the screen. I want to see, you know, I want to see big space fights, you know, that kind of shit.
Giant black Wookiees.
Yeah.
I'm so happy when I saw him. I was like, God damn. I hear, like, Dave, I know you've got a few of the comics. Darth Vader #1, apparently, without being slabbed or whatever it is already worth about $250.
Yeah, it's
Really?
all gone up as soon as he came on the show.
Yeah,
That's
prices
good. I got
then.
5 of those, all different variants.
Well, I checked their value. I mean, they've literally all gone up in price, and that's really exciting news again for Star Wars.
And me.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and for you in particular, Dave. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Ching. And that's it. Like I said, it's been a relatively quiet week. Things are gonna start warming up as we get towards February, because I think that's when January, February, when all the big releases start coming out again. From February.
What's the next
onwards.
Marvel film that's coming out?
It was meant to be Morbius, wasn't it? But that got delayed till
Morbius
April
is
now.
Out in May? Is it
April now. Yeah.
I don't know why they delayed that. They're so stupid. They should have kept it there
to keep it away from Spider-Man.
But it makes sense to keep it with
4
Spider-Man.
months or 4 weeks. I would give it 4 or 5 weeks, not 4 months. That's just crazy.
I know, but I think Sony's just like, we'll give it clear space to breathe so it doesn't get buried underneath. Because Scream was going to clean up easily at this point. So
what's going to come out next week?
I don't know. I know, but you don't want to risk it. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to come in second to Scream, because you come in second to a film, you're not going to go to number one afterwards.
No.
And I think it was just about giving it some breathing space. And to be quite honest, I don't blame Sony. Sony's had the only films that have really competed with Marvel this year, with Disney, have been Sony films. And they've done all right, apart from Raccoon's Resident Evil. So they had Ghostbusters came out, Afterlife, and that did all right. And I think they had another film that came out that did all right. But yeah, it's been a tough year. And Sony, I think, are going to end up coming out on top this year, just because of the way they're putting their films out and the fact they don't have a streaming service.
So you got shares in Sony by any chance?
Huh?
You got shares in Sony? Really been promoting them last couple of weeks.
No, because I've been really, really impressed with what they've managed to do. Like Ghostbusters Afterlife isn't even a particularly great film, but it was marketed really well and it's done particularly well at cinema. Why they messed up so badly with Resident Evil, I don't know. From all accounts, it's a terrible movie.
Yeah,
but
I don't think it was ever going to be good, though, was it? Let's face the truth. They've all been pretty bad.
If you've got a good director on it, there's no reason why they couldn't do a thriller, a 24 version of Resident Evil. You know, the race against time to stop the virus from killing everybody. But they don't seem to get it, and I think that's a shame. And it's not even that they don't get it; they made a really, really bad film. Sorry, Monster Hunter. That was another one that was really bad as well. That came out last year. Anyway, gentlemen, that's the end of the show. Oh my God, the team. We're back together. I feel so good. Sorry, I keep forgetting where I am. Absolutely, it's we're looking forward to a fantastic year. I know you boys hate The Expanse, but I'd say that was my highlight of last year, and the final was last week. If you can watch it, it is the best sci-fi on the best sci-fi on TV. Dave, did you get round to watching any of Arcane? Have I made you? Did you buy into any of it?
I've watched the first 2 episodes of it, and it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
It's visually good. It's visually good. The story's actually good, and it's like steampunk sort of era, so it's quite cool.
I've only got 3 episodes left, or 2, I think.
I love that show, and I hope it gets picked up as a film.
Problem is, the episodes are long. They are like 45 minutes long. It's like, wow, you can't turn your eyes off 1 minute because you've got to rewind it. It's like,
if you go onto YouTube and look up some of the stuff, some of the videos are amazing. The quality is amazing, and the little adverts for the game are pretty damn cool. But yes, I hope you keep watching it, and maybe we can do a review of that next week.
Well, there's nothing else to watch.
We'll find stuff, Dave. Eternals. We've still got a review of Eternals to do, because I know I saw it, but you guys...
I watched it last week.
Yeah, you've got to release your review as well for that, Mike. So, we've still got Eternals. We've got the next episode of Boba Fett to talk about. we've got even more
Peacemaker.
entertainment being released on Netflix. So hang in there, boys. It's not over, man. It's not a big sky. We've got big sky as well. So don't forget, we've got plenty to talk about. Why? Because we're the boys from Bossk, and we never stop talking, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Well, we do. You don't.
Watch The Expanse. It's really good.
Well, The Expanse is brilliant. This was the latest edition of the boys from Bossk, ladies and gentlemen. Good night. Good night.
Bye.
Farewell.
Ta-ra.
Auf Wiedersehen.